I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll do a roll call.
Leslie,
Here.
Paul Beagle,
Here.
Katie,
Here.
Junior,
Here.
Isaac, here, Brenda,
Here.
Paul Keeper,
Here. We'll go on to the approval of minutes for April 6, 2021.
I'd like to move that we approve minutes. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions about the minutes anybody would like to talk about? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, the minutes pass. Introduction, so I just think we need to take a look who's up there. So we got Kylie's iPad. Does anybody know who that is?
she's our auditor.
Okay.
She'll be
you know.
giving a
Then we
presentation.
got Marta, Tori Graves, we got Sam Irons, and says Craig Rinkovich.
Yes, I am basically replacing David Ulrich to update the city on the bond process update.
Copy, okay, thank you. Then we know who Trey's telephone is, that's someone's wife. And then Leslie Pearson. So did I miss anybody?
Sam Irons.
I thought I said Sam Irons.
Oh.
I may not have said it loud enough. But Sam Irons, yes. Financial report ending April 30th, 2021.
Hi, good evening. You should all receive that just a little bit ago. We got our big statements this morning, and so whip this out for you in time for the meeting. I do have one correction that I noted down in the cash report in your interest rate. Our Banner Bank savings account is not at 71% interest rate. It is at 0.71, so 0.71 of 1%. Sorry about that. This is a busy month because of our quarterly fees are paid out for our building department. And also, as we later will have our presentation on the update on the GEO bond and our water and wastewater projects, we have been working on those. And so we have been paying some of those fees already for some of the design and some of that preliminary work that goes with it. So that's what you will see under the water reserve fund and the sewer reserve fund as the activity for expenditures. It's those big projects that we're already moving forward with. Does anybody have any questions? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I may,
You may.
I want to thank Marta for her answering my 11 questions concerning the audits that we were handed June 30th, 2020. I appreciate your time and effort. Thank you very much. I noticed I was the only one that asked questions, but okay, at least I understand. Thank you.
Yes, I'm glad that helped you out.
All right, so that takes care of the financial report. We'll go to prearranged presentation. We have a scholarship presentation given from Anderson, Perry and Associates. Yeah, we'll just go right here. Perfect timing. So,
If you'll stand 6 feet away from her, she can take her mask off, I would think. So we can have a,
Yeah, we want to see that smile.
we want a photo op. Stand next to us.
all right, so in behalf of Anderson Perry and Associates, in cooperation with the city of Boardman, we're gonna award this Scholastic Achievement Scholarship to America Pacheco for $1,500. Congratulations. I would give you a hug, but pretty excited for you.
For you that don't know, America was our intern here, and we didn't play favorites to get her to get a scholarship.
Did you get a picture, Mom?
But
Did you get a
we-
picture?
But we are really happy that she received this, so that, yeah, that we all got to know her and like her. She's a good girl.
Tell them your plans, how you use it, what's your plans?
I plan to enroll OSU in the fall.
Oh, good.
Right.
Congratulations, that's really cool.
No, Karen.
Did you ever get to go on the UEC trip?
Sadly, no, but they offered me a $3,000 scholarship.
Wow. Hey, good job. All right, good.
No, Karen. She was in her class, in his class.
Really? Well, you guys did a good job. She did a nice
She
job.
started the thing.
Yeah, well, she was pretty easy. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes, very nice.
This is the Anderson Perry person too, by the way.
I did want to say a couple things that, well, congratulations on that. The city of Boardman and Anderson Perry. I wasn't personally on the selection committee, so there wasn't any favorites played, but a bunch of engineers reviewed all the applications. There were 4 of them. Everybody had really high GPAs, but what stood out on your application was your essay. So just wanted to say good job and good luck on your future endeavors. It's exciting.
Pretty cool.
That is cool.
I think it's pretty cool. There's 3 of our teachers on the city council. That's what I think is cool.
Well,
No,
and
I
the-
can stay.
No.
Okay.
You've got more important things to do.
Yeah.
But you can stop in and see the staff when you want to.
I thought it was closed.
we open finally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you're rich and famous, you can come back and visit.
That would even be better.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So we'll go on to the next part is Kyle McClintock with Cockburn and McClintock, the audit report.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes. Loud and clear.
Okay, so just briefly, typically what we do is just give a brief financial overview. The city's in excellent condition, so as far as financially goes, so there's not a whole lot for us to talk about here. The city sits with a net ending position of just over $26 million, with just under 5 million of that being cash itself. Cash increased by about $1.8 million from 2019 to 2020. I did read through Marta's comments, her questions, or the questions that we asked of her, and then she responded. They're very thought out, they're very well put together, they're very spot on. So it sounds like probably any detailed questions that needed to be asked have already been asked. And like I said, she did a wonderful job. The one question she did ask of me was the very last question, had to do with the comment that was in the Oregon Minimum Standards letter about transfers. It appears that is a mistake on our part. That is a carryover from a comment from last year. So that comment has been deleted, and I have resubmitted that letter to the Secretary of State, indicating that that was our mistake. No wrongdoing of the city. The other thing that we have done this year was we did issue, for the first time in a long time, an internal control letter. And we issued an internal control letter this year with a significant deficiency in it. The way that these work is when we issue something like this, it has to go to the Secretary of State. And then a corrective action plan has to be put together by the city and adopted by City Council. The significant deficiency that was found was there was payroll taxes that hadn't been paid. They had been left as an outstanding item on the bank reconciliation when we came in to complete the audit. The minute it was found, the deposit was made. The IRS then came back several months later and has issued penalties for that, which my understanding is the city is trying to get those abated. Marta has already put together a corrective action plan, which she supplied to me right before the meeting. It looks good to me. I think the only thing, Marta, is it needs to go before council and they need to actually adopt the corrective action plan. So I would just put a spot on the bottom of there for a full adoption by council. But other than that, it looked fantastic. And this is the first I'm hearing of the city going to an outsource program for payroll, which could potentially be a really good idea. We're seeing lots of changes with lots of new stuff from COVID and tax related credits on the employee side. So I'm gonna say probably a good idea at this point right now. So does anybody have any questions for me?
Well, maybe next year we'll get this done a little earlier. This is Karen.
Hi, Karen. Yeah, that would be the goal. I would hope that maybe standards and everything will be out a lot sooner than they were this last year. So yeah.
Great. Other than that, thanks for tuning in tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions that we have in regards to the audit? Because we need to approve the audit, I guess, or vote on it.
So do you need?
Yeah, we're
a
gonna,
motion?
yes, we'll need a motion.
Is there something written up for it, or can I just do an ad lib?
I think we can just approve, make a motion to approve the audit ending April 30th, 2021.
With the correction noted.
Correct.
I would like to move that we accept the audit with the corrections and the with what Kylie suggested was things that we need to take care of for the 2019 fiscal year. Is that right?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any other discussions that anybody would like to have? All in favor, say aye.
We need to take a roll.
Aye.
We'll need to take a roll.
Roll call on that.
Okay, we'll take a roll call.
Leslie,
Yes.
Eagle,
Aye.
Katie,
Yes.
Junior,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Brenda,
Yes.
Paul Kiefer,
Yes. Okay, so it takes care of the audit report. Guess I read the wrong date on this 1920 audit report. All right, so we'll go to Craig with the bond process update.
Whoa. Hey, Karen, do you have those presentations that you might be able to share, or should I just kind of what's been happening?
I sent them to the council late this afternoon, and so some of them have them and some of them don't. So
Can he share his screen?
can you share your screen?
I can try to. Let's see if host disabled participants. It says host disabled participants screen sharing. Let's try again. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Share. Now maybe I can bring this over. Can everybody see that screen or now?
Yes.
So does it say update of the city's upcoming 2021 general obligation bonds?
Yes.
Okay, so this is just an update from, I guess, the city met on March 2nd, 2021 to authorize the sale of the bonds. And David Ulbrich can't be with us tonight. He has a family, a personal, I guess, event that he needed to attend to. So my name is Craig Rinkovich. I'm at Robert W. Baird. We're serving the city as the bond underwriter on the transaction. So we've been working with both David and Marta and Karen on putting the bond together to go out and to sell to investors. And in that process, in the last 2 months, we've been working on getting a bond rating for the city, as well as getting bond insurance, and then preparing the offering document, and that which I think City Council viewed and reviewed in the last week and a half, and then we released that last Thursday to investors. So right now, I just wanted to run through some things. One is, if you can see that, and I'm not sure if you can see the whole page or not, but this page just basically shows where interest rates have been and kind of looks at interest rates from January of 2020, which was around the time that the city was first debating going to the voters to approve this project. And so rates right now are anywhere from 50 to 60 basis points lower than where they were at that time. They're somewhat higher than earlier this year, which we kind of lay out interest rates from early January of this year. But overall, rates are at historical lows. So on the left-hand side, you can see in the graph, the blue line is where rates are currently, and the red line was earlier this year, and the green line is where rates were back in January of 2021. So rates are very attractive for the city to borrow for these projects. The next page that we wanted to highlight was just bonds that have been sold in the state of Oregon since the adoption of the authorizing resolution for the city to sell these bonds. So you can see this on March 18th, the Port of Morrow, which is right in your backyard, they sold $70 million in bonds with an A- rating. And then you also can see that the state of Oregon just recently sold bonds this past week on April 29th for the amount of $323 million. So this just gives you a sense of who's selling bonds in the state. And then going to the next page, this just shows the current, or this was as of earlier this week, and the statistics have gotten slightly better, but this just shows the estimated sources and uses of funds for the city's bond issue. So the city will be selling $20.32 million in bonds to fund, to make improvements to the city's water and wastewater system, as well as to pay off the existing bond issue from 2016. And you can see in the uses of funds, the refunding escrow deposit of around $3.769 million is what's to pay off the 2016 bonds. And the project fund right now, and this is, we'll share updated statistics on another slide, but the project fund is around $18.4 million. So that's the money that is set aside at bond closing, which is scheduled to be May 20th, so that the city can use those proceeds to fund that water and wastewater project. And then there's cost of issuance, underwriter's discount, the bond insurance premium, and then just some contingency because bonds are sold with $5,000 denominations. But if you look at the bottom of the slide, the all-in true interest cost for the city for this 24-year bond is a 2.26%, and that's tax exempt. And total debt service here is estimated to be $29 million and $29,035,000. And that's somewhat lower based on today's rates. And average annual debt service is estimated based on a call we had with the city this afternoon, is about $1,185,000. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But just highlighting, and I'm not sure if everybody received a copy of the city's rating report, but the city did receive a rating from Standard & Poor's of an A+, which is a very good rating. And then we just highlight some of the comments that Standard & Poor's made with respect to the city's financial management and financial performance on the right-hand side of the slide. And then I think there was a question at the March 2nd meeting related to the purchase of bond insurance. And what bond insurance does, here it's going to do two things. Here it will basically, the city is going to secure a policy, a bond insurance policy, and that will raise the rating on the bonds to a AA by Standard & Poor's, and will reduce the cost of borrowing for the city. So the city's interest rate will be reduced because it's selling a higher grade rated credit with the insurance. The second thing that insurance is going to do is, because the city's projects are environmental projects and they're for the water and wastewater system, these bonds will be designated as green bonds. So this will allow for investors who are I guess there's environmentally, social, and governance. ESG is a hot topic in the municipal bond market, and investors have separate funds, and they're really been hot heavy in terms of investing in green projects. So by designating these bonds as green, we think that will basically open up the bond to additional investors and hopefully lower the borrowing cost for the city. So the city will be purchasing a policy from Build America Mutual, which will raise the rating to a AA from the A+ that it received from S&P, and it will pay an insurance premium, which is really based on the credit quality of the city. So because the city is rated an A+ and it's raising the rating to AA, the cost of insurance is very cheap. And what David Ulbrich does and myself is we'll basically look at the cost effectiveness of purchasing the bond insurance policy to see if it makes economic sense for the city. And if it results in a lower borrowing cost, we will recommend to the city that they purchase the bond insurance. And we did recommend to the city that they purchase the bond insurance. So you'll see on the next page is the offering document that we sent out last Thursday regarding the sale of the bonds. And as you can see, it has the BAM logo and it has the description of the issue. And the document, which I believe you had a chance to review, has a lot of detail about the security, the city, and just the amortization of the bonds, etc. So if anybody has any questions. And then finally, the schedule of events for the next few days, we will have a pre-pricing call with Karen and Marta and David Ulbrich to kind of review the interest rates that will be going out on Thursday morning to set the interest rates on the sale. And we'll basically wrap up the setting of the interest rates for the sale and the structure Thursday, but probably by around 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then the closing is scheduled for May 20th. So the city should have all the proceeds on May 20th for this issue. So it's taken about, I would say, you authorized the sale in March, early March. It's probably taking about 8 weeks to get the bonds to market, and then there'll be 2 more weeks before we close the bond issue. And I want to pull up another presentation which David prepared, which just shows the impact of the tax impact. I guess it was estimated back when the project was being contemplated in early February 2020, that the tax impact was going to be $1.56 per thousand. And that's right now estimated to be $1.45 per thousand. So it's a savings of, I think, 10 cents that we're looking at. But I'll just run through some. I don't know if everybody can see this, but this just shows the current tax impact of the bond issue. And I think everybody should have a copy of this presentation as well, but it just shows the current impact. As I mentioned, the total debt service right now, and this is based off of rates as of this afternoon, is about $1.185 million annually that the city will pay. And the tax impact, I believe, is on the right-hand side of the column. And then you can see that right now it's, I just can't see it because I'm pulling back, but it's $1.45 at the end of that. You can see what the estimated annual average is. So that's what's anticipated, and I believe looking at the cost, and then just to give you another set of cost of issuance, this is the current illustration. This was the illustration back in February 2020. So as you can see, the estimated underwriter's discount is a little bit lower, bond counsel fees a little bit lower, and then the various costs of issuance, you can see what's higher and what's lower. And bond insurance was not anticipated at that time in February of 2020, and we added that. But that's kind of the summary of the presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
So does anybody have any questions about the presentation? I think we're on the right track. I think buying the insurance is going to pay the dividends we're hoping for. So that'll be great.
And you forwarded this to us?
Yes.
This information?
Well, yes, and if I can, I will.
I would appreciate it, because I want to look out line item by line item.
Right, and there will be, this is stuff they'll present, and so it's like a done deal.
And if you do have any questions on the materials, everybody's contact information, my contact information is in one of the presentations, and so is David's. So if you have any questions, just give us a ring. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. But we are scheduled to sell the bonds on Thursday, to sign the bond purchase contract on Thursday, and then close on May 20th.
And I will say that David mentioned that we should be very happy that we got the green star, that like is a super good thing for us. The timing, was nice for us. That's great. And like, we didn't know fixing the lagoon was gonna be a good thing for us, but anyway, we'll take it. So Craig, what time is it wherever you're at?
It's always early.
Answer a question I ask you.
What's that? I'm located in New York, so it is 3 hours later. So it's probably around 10. It's 10:30 exactly right now.
Okay, well, if no one has any other questions, thank you for coming on and filling in. And you did a nice, clear presentation for us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Taryn.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
So moving right on, we'll go to public comment. I do believe, I saw Tori on there.
Yes, I'm trying to get myself unmuted. How are you guys this evening?
Well, thank you.
All right, thank you for having me. I'll just give a few updates. Reminder that May 19th is our chamber luncheon at noon. Guest speaker Marcy Rodello will be joining me from Marcy's Tax Service and Marcy's Nutrition Center. She's going to be kind of discussing what she serves out of her nutrition center a little bit more too. Remind everybody that your ballots are due by May 18th by 8 p.m. So get those ballots in. We had a couple new members join the chamber. Carmen Mendoza is a realtor now for Windermere Group 1, and she joined their team. And then iPro Building Services, they're a cleaning service in our area. They did a great job. They're now cleaning the Stage Center, and I highly recommend them if you have a business that needs to be cleaned. You will see that the renovations are nearly complete for the River Lodge cabins, and they are ready to announce that their new restaurant name is Two Barrels Taps and Grill, and they have expanded the bar, and they have 12 taps on now. So that's exciting. So stop by and go see them and read the story of Sam Boardman himself and his 2 barrels on their website. They named it off of actually Sam Boardman. He started planting all the trees around here, and he drove around town and watered the trees with the 2 barrels, and that's where they got the name for the restaurant. So that was kind of exciting. They put it towards our city. Water Safety Day is May 15th at Bourbon Pool. You can sign up for that event at their website. And the Good Shepherd Community Health Foundation's 28th annual scramble for scholarships is Friday, June 11th. So if you have a 4-person scramble, you can get signed up at their website. We have Science Friday coming up at the Stage Center. So the Stage Center is opening the doors May 10th. We're excited to have everybody back, and we will be following OHA guidelines and spacing out our visitors. We've been very busy trying to get everything up and running after being sit idle for so long. Computers are not wanting to function. So it's been all hands on deck at the Stage Center. I kudos to the port employees around there. The landscaping crew has come in and thoroughly washed our building. Our windows, our patios are washed, and it looks amazing. They spent a full day pressure washing the building, and it was quite amazing how dirty it was actually. So we're excited to have our doors open soon. And Science Fridays events are going to be happening in June, July, and August for 3rd through 6th graders. And we are asking everybody to sign up individually. If you have a kid, sign up individually from the Visit Sage website. And June 18th and 25th, we will be discussing water and soil in the Columbia Basin. And July 9th and the 16th, we'll be discussing bees and butterflies and commodities. And then July 30th and August 6th, we'll be discussing energy and transportation. It's a full day of parents be able to drop their kids off from 8 to 5. We are taking them on for the full day. So that's kind of exciting. The Boardman Park and Rec has a new website available. And if people are interested in reserving the disc golf course with a large party of 20 plus players or a tournament, you can now reserve that on their website. The Boardman Senior Center is always needing volunteers, just a reminder for that. And the Riverside Junior Senior High School Booster Bash is coming up May 15th at 5 p.m. That will be an outdoor live event. And if you haven't got your tickets, I think there's a few left. And they're just asking everybody to come and join and support their boosters. And just one last reminder that every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. you can join us bright and early with Senator Hansel and Representative Levy to discuss what's going on the legislation level. And then if you miss those, we do send out our legislative updates from Oregon State Chamber of Commerce on, we usually get one at the beginning of the week and the end of the week, and we share those in our constant contacts emails that we send out to everybody. So, and that is all I have for tonight. Anybody have questions for me? Perfect. Thank you, guys. Have a fabulous evening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, Mike.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else that would have any public input or public comment tonight? Having hearing none, we'll move on down to some other business. We need to appoint a planning commissioner.
One? How many we appointed? One or two?
We're appointing two.
Okay,
It doesn't say that.
does not say.
It just has the two names there.
Right, so just appoint planning commissioner. So looks like we have two candidates and we're gonna have two people that are gonna get it.
Makes it easy.
It does make it easy.
So Jennifer Layton and Sam Irons are the ones who put in a request, show interest. Do we need to vote on that?
Yes. You need to make a motion in a second.
Mr. Mayor, I motion that we appoint Jennifer Layton, Sam Irons.
Can we do it
both.
separately? Do it separately.
Each one.
Then I will start with Ms. Layton. Appoint her as a planning commissioner for the city of Boardman.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll go to, so Jennifer Layton is now appointed to the planning commission. Sam Irons, a motion for Sam.
I'll move to appoint Sam Irons to the planning commission.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of appointing Sam Irons, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So, actually, not motion, but they are approved on there, appointed. That's the right word. So Jennifer Layton and Sam Irons, they have now been appointed to the planning commission.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you for applying.
You got two more people.
I got a full vote.
Full vote?
Finally.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Marta, since we're in the corrective action section of the city council, and so that we can get everything with the audit for 2019, 2020 completed, can I read to you the corrective action? This is literally a short paragraph that is submitted, and ask the council to approve it so that we can get it submitted.
Yes.
Okay. And I will send you an email with the actual copy of the letter so that you have that for reference as well. And the letter reads, to whom it may concern, this letter is in response to the audit finding for fiscal year ending 2019-2020 of the city of Boardman, in which a payroll tax payment was not successfully submitted and discovered during field audit. The city has decided to outsource its payroll and payroll liability processing. The city's payroll process has been reviewed and checkpoints have been added to verify that all CH transactions are submitted, recorded, and accounted for in a timely manner to avoid instances like the before mentioned. Respectfully submitted, Marta Barajas, Finance Director. And this is the letter that Kylie mentioned that I had sent for her review as well. And so I ask that you approve it, and if approved, I will submit to the Secretary of State.
Well, I would move that we approve the letter as in the corrected action.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
What? We have discussion before we vote on it.
Okay, you have discussion then.
I want to understand this. We're putting, Marta, we're putting in tax and balance, correct? For the payroll tax deficiency that we had?
Yes. Well, our payroll is being outsourced now to our accounting software company. Their name is Cassell. One, because of shortage of personnel, and two, to keep those internal control and separation of duties. Otherwise, it falls back on me and I record all the accounting. And so that keeps it with the separation of duties.
Okay, my question is, who is the point of contact for this? Other than you, it falls on the people we outsource it to?
Nope, it still falls on the Finance Director. That's why I sign off on the letter that's submitted to the Secretary of State, because it's a financial audit.
Okay, and then if there's another payroll tax thing that happens, heaven forbid there is, it comes back to you again.
Correct. Those are, anything that's financial falls under my umbrella. So that's everything that I review.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions that anybody might have pertaining to this? Having none, so we had a motion and a second. How do I know when we need to do a roll call? What's the protocol on the,
Usually anything that has to do with financial
so this will be
is
a
a
roll
roll
call?
call.
Okay, so we'll do a roll call.
Leslie,
Yes.
Aye.
Katie,
Yes.
Junior,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Brenda,
Yes.
Paul Keeper.
Yes. All right, so that takes care of that. I would take, do we have any correspondence or discussions? And we'll just go to the police report.
So everybody should have gotten a copy of the monthly report. You notice the formatting is a little different. I was out, so I wanted to make sure you have this report. This is just a breakdown for the month of April. And I will be submitting your regular comparisons at a later time, but this is the monthly report for the month of April. Are there any questions about that report? I really don't have anything else, so we're continuing to knock on wood, be full staffed and staying busy, unfortunately.
Good on being full staff.
We're happy.
Unfortunately, I'm staying busy.
Any more questions on the police report? Building department report.
You have the staff in front of you. I just wanted to let everybody know that there another PDX campus has opened, and that's to keep them pretty busy. And there are 3 nice commercial projects out in South County. And so I'm spending more time driving. We got 6 houses dropped off on one day for permits. Yeah, it's great. It's exciting, but we'll see how it goes. But again, staying busy. I wish I could quantify busy, but it's been.
Does that mean we gotta hire more help for you?
So, yeah, the next couple of years. That's just off the cuff estimate, so.
Well, I told him to say, to make sure he said to you, because permits, how many permits you sell has no bearing on how busy you are. Because one Amazon permit is a lot of work. One house permit isn't quite so much. So I told him, make sure you tell him how busy you are.
Public Works Department report.
I don't see anyone here to speak about the Public Works
Okay.
Department. I think that, so his report is pretty self-explanatory. It's in your packet. I think that today, actually, though, when they brought it in and I looked and it says 956 meters read. So I had Tony go back and look, and 2 years ago, it was 850. So that you can kind of get an idea of, you know, like it's 100 more meters we're reading today than we read 2 years ago. So
Those are citizen meters, or that's just meters in general?
that's just meters in general, but see, that would be, you know, every house has a new meter, you know, so you drive down the street and count how many new houses you have, and like the new businesses and stuff. No, I think he's asking to maybe have another employee too, so we'll look at that at budget time.
Got a question on this.
Uh-huh.
What's the status of their expecting backflow devices? Where are they at in that?
I think they do that when they have time. Everybody's looking at you, Paul.
Well, they looked at my property 2 months ago, and said, yep, I got one, but they have not inspected yet. So just wondering.
My favorite.
I think we don't schedule a man that just works solely on that. I think when they have time not doing their other jobs, they do backflow.
Aren't they supposed to have this completed by a certain date for the town of Boardman?
What they're doing is they're picking out a neighborhood, so they haven't gotten to your neighborhood yet.
Well, that's
even
what
though
I'm asking.
You completed the questionnaire. But we haven't gotten to your neighborhood yet, so that's why you haven't, they
So-
haven't been over there to inspect it or anything.
When's the completion date to?
I'm not 100% sure what the completion date is. I know that they are expecting them to be be at a certain spot at a certain time. I don't know exactly what that date is, but I know that Luis Campos is going out and he's starting to go into residential.
Right, right, and I was, I think a couple meetings ago, when everybody brought it up, and I didn't know if I had one or not, and I happened to catch Luis, and I said, hey. So in the meeting that we had a couple months ago, there was a date that they said the city or the state was gonna come by and say, okay, it's gotta be done by this date. Now, I don't know, I don't remember or recall what that date was.
No, I think the in-state will be here sometime in May. And we wanted to show that we were actually working on this project because we've never worked on it.
So it's not a cement date.
No, I don't think so. We just wanted to be doing it. Not
Okay.
putting it off another year or two.
Okay.
And I think she should be here. It's May already, so I'm thinking it was mid-May.
All right.
And people from DEQ and some of these agencies will, they'll come in and they'll kind of want you to do things. They won't give you it's not cast in stone. They just encourage you to get to moving along on it. And I think that they.
All right.
I have a comment about filters. But sometimes when you drive through towns, you don't notice when they're clean, but you definitely notice when they're dirty. And I was thinking, I haven't noticed dirty. So I feel like they're doing a nice job keeping the litter and debris, even with all the wind, tidy. And then I'm on my way back from work tonight, on my way home from work, and I drive by the splash pad, and it's lit up, and there's water everywhere. And there were little kids toddling around. It was lovely. It was a nice surprise. So they're doing a good job.
Well, and I know Leslie wanted me to make sure and make a nice comment to Guy about how well the community garden looks.
He
Because
was out
Guy,
there working hard today. I believe he takes vacation to work on
yes, I mean,
That might be his vacation.
that. No, he does. He takes a week's vacation to go work in the city garden. He does a really good job. He was working hard today.
yes,
Up in the scenic room.
totally volunteer labor. And stuff. He does a nice job. So we want to make sure let him know. that-
Yeah, tell him thanks when you see him, because I did today and he appreciated it. So
Yes.
I offered him a fishing trip and he said he didn't have time.
All right, so city manager, your report.
Okay, couple of things I want to make sure that you, we want to move the next city council meeting to the 8th of June.
You just need it right here, right?
Because it's, that will be one of our last budget meeting. And then because of Memorial Day, it will make it so that,
Say that again, we're gonna do what?
move the city council meeting to the 8th of May.
June, 8th of June, from June 1st to June 8th.
And so, like I say, that's our budget. On your budget calendar, we will have a budget meeting, I think, on the 18th and the 8th of May. That's not right, Marta, she'll type it and tell me.
Yeah, May 18th is our budget committee meeting at 7 o'clock. And June 8th, which is what we're requesting to move the city council meeting to, is when we hold our budget hearing. And it's always held just during our city council meeting. So May 18th, budget committee meeting, June 8th, budget hearing.
Okay, so the city council will be on June 8th. We're just gonna move it a week back.
Yes.
Yes.
And I won't be here for the budget meeting on May 18th. That will be out of the state.
Okay.
We need to be there at the May 18th.
Yes.
Yes, council's already to be present.
No, this is your budget.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna tell you that we usually, as a staff, try to have the budget prepared for you so that you don't have like 3 or 4 meetings ahead of that. So that's the day that you come. We present the budget to you. If there's things you do not like, and we'll get it out early enough that you can look at it.
Next week.
I doubt that. Marta, you can't believe how busy we are at City Hall. I know you're sick of hearing this and I'm sick of saying it, but since October, we've been shorthanded, one person, the city reporter or whatever that position is, has been gone. And so that makes everyone else, besides trying to sell a bond and put the budget together. And I mean, Marta, I just practically forbid people to go into her office except for
Don't
me.
forget the Head Start.
Oh, yeah, Head Start. Yeah, but we're gonna you see Head Start's getting the siding on it over there and the roof. So that's looking good. And we're getting that finally pretty well
So on
underway.
May 18th, what are your expectations of the city? What are we gonna be doing? I mean, what should we have done at the end of that? Or is it just question and answer?
We hope that you are ready to approve the budget for the next year. If you aren't, we on our budget calendar, we put the 25th, the next Tuesday but then by then, like you say, by the 8th of June, we're getting down to, because we have to have it finished by what, the end of June?
Yes, it has to be approved before June 30th. So at the budget committee meeting, the budget committee is all of the city council, the mayor, and then Boardman citizens. Those all make up the budget committee. It first has to be approved by the budget committee. And then when we hold the budget hearing, the city council gets to adopt the budget for the next fiscal year. And if we don't adopt a budget, the city by law is not allowed to spend a single dollar. That's why it needs to happen before June 30th, because July 1st is the first day of the next fiscal year.
So in 2 weeks, we meet again.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
why I said, next week, we should get the report.
So
So we
Marta-
can look at it.
So
Well, we're thinking the 17th. maybe.
on the 18th, is that the only agenda item that we're gonna be talking about is budget?
Yes, that's all.
It's just the budget.
At the budget meeting.
And I don't know if Marta does it differently, but in the past, when Tom was here, he would walk us through every element of the budget, and we understood it very clearly when he was done. So
Yeah, we go through it. We don't just bring it in and plop it down. We go through line by line and tell you what, in our best estimate, what we think will be increased and where the revenue will come from. I think in my report, on the city clerk's position, I had it advertised. Then I extended the date, and now I've withdrawn the whole thing. We're going to change the job title and the description, and we'll go back out for, I was gonna say bids, but that's not the word, applications, and then, hopefully we can get someone new on board. But, it won't, it'll take us most of this month, probably, to even get it back out to the bid or advertised.
What will the job title be changed to?
It will be changed to city recorder. And we're taking, we're changing up some of the departments. That the lady from the insurance came and spent last Thursday with us. And she took with the department heads. And then I include Jackie and Jose, because we all work over there. And the chief is a department head. So, and she took their job descriptions with her. She went in and talked, spent about 45 minutes with each one of them, talked about their job descriptions, what their expectations were, what they liked about the job, where they'd seen that they thought it could be improved. It was really a great day and very, very productive, because when Tom was here, he didn't necessarily want to supervise people. He wanted to count numbers and things like that. And so we've moved, we're going to move the accounts payable and receivable into Marta's department, which is finance, which is where it should be. And those kind of things are gonna be going on. I'm sorry about that.
You're right.
And so it's just gonna, everybody, I think, was happy to have her come and take some time to talk about their positions and stuff. So, yeah. And let's see what else. I guess in my notes, I was pretty, I told you like that we bought new traffic counters. So we're going to put them out in different spots, and by doing 3, because the first ones we did, Barry had them put them out just as you turn down Southeast Front Street, right here at the corner, and then that way we put one there and one just before you went into the food court, and then one just after that. And it's pretty amazing, because it counts, both ways. So you get people who go in and people who come out, could be the same car. But, like, it was like 1,300 that went at the first one, and about 600 and something, so almost half went to the second one, and then something like 129 was down at the very far end, which is like no traffic at all. And that was like for a 1-day period?
We did one day for 3 days on that. And then we reset it every day. And we've got it set up on Northeast Columbia. Had it set up for 2 days. We're gonna get chapter 2 days there. We're gonna move them on further down on Columbia. And in 3 different settings of them, we'll have a profile picture of what's going on in Columbia. We'll capture what's going into East Beach with one, and let's sit down with Google Earth and put pins where they go, and then guys, and they go out and get them set, and then getting pretty quick at getting them set, which is gonna be good for us.
Is there an end purpose, other than just understanding the traffic in our Boardman?
There's a lot of requests for what the traffic is.
BCDA, we just emailed today, and BCDA is going to fund Kittleson to do a traffic study of our community. Because like Barry is saying, there's so many requests now, you know, any major business wants to know how much traffic you have. And so BCDA said they would fund that study. So we'll be getting that.
Is ODOT gonna use any of this for the IMPs?
I'm sorry. what?
Is ODOT gonna use any of this for the interchanges?
Oh, yes, and they do their own.
Oh, they'll have their own separate, they won't use our information.
Yes, I'm gonna be forwarding to them.
Oh, they will.
For corroboration.
Yeah, everybody, we all try to share, you know, some of this stuff's pretty expensive.
Mhm.
You know, it's like I said in my report that when we started to do the IMP out here at the port, you know, we all said we'd chip in 5,000. And I think we probably overshot that since we're 2 years, you know, but, I think with that, oh, I did put in here, and I wanted you to particularly take notice of when I sent you the tax increase in the value from 2005 to 2019 in Morrow County, the assessed value. I wanted you to notice because, you know, in some of the debates and stuff, there's been comments about, you know, why the sheriff's office wasn't funded and these kind of things. So I wanted you to see that in 2005, the county's assessed value was $1,445 million. But by 2019, it was $2,470,000. So it really more than doubled in the assessed value. And the amount of taxes that was collected also doubled. So, you know, the more taxes we receive, the more services we can provide. I mean, that's all of our jobs and we understand that. So I just wanted you to see in just, you know, like that's 14 years. I mean, what a huge change we've had in Morrow County. And if I had taken the time to have gotten from the 2019 to 2021, you would see a substantial increase still in this figure. So I want you to. The part of the reason I wanted to show you this is because, you know, everybody could get this information, they just don't know it. And they just don't know where to go to get it. They don't know to call the assessor's office and get these kind of figures. But so that's the benefit of having this job is that you get lots of figures that really excite you and think, oh, look at there, you know, and I could, and Boardman's value has come up a lot too. I can look at that. This just happened to be on my desk, so I wanted to point it out to you. And let's see, I think that's about all I have.
You're all done.
I'm all done.
You're all done. Okay. Were there anything that council would like to share?
I have a couple items, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
2 months ago, I put forth a resolution to change or move the meeting time. And nothing has happened to it. We've had a motion and a second, and it's been tabled twice. I think it's time that we vote on it, either nay or yay. And the second thing, I would like to receive documents pertaining to the meeting a few days before the meeting, not hours before the meeting.
I think we've been over this before. Tonight, we had a meeting this afternoon at 2 o'clock with the man that spoke to you.
Mhm.
He sent me papers. I cannot work any faster. So my choice was, I could not give them to you. And I think that's what I said last time, that I will not be sending out last minute papers. But I knew someone was gonna be on here to talk to you. I could have not sent them today and I could have waited till tomorrow. But I think that it's unreasonable for you to ask us. I guess that if you don't want the information, for the meeting that you're gonna have. We can only send out what we have. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Well, I'd like to get the paperwork or the documents and go over them so that I understand them before an hour or 2 hours before the meeting. I understand that he presented, I understand that. But the other things that we get,
We moved our date to send the packets out. We used to send them out on the Friday before the Tuesday meeting. We've sent them out on, we've moved that up to Wednesday so that you would have more time. And that truly leaves us a week almost of gap.
hey, I got the new update at 5 o'clock today. That's when my computer said it was sent.
You know, that's your new agenda.
There were 6 pages added to the new agenda.
So I guess my question, Mr. Beagle, is what, other than additional papers, what's the concern?
Not being prepared for the meeting. I want to be able to look at what is handed to me or presented to me, so I can go through it, read it, understand it, write my questions so that when the topic comes up, I can ask the question.
So I guess you're suggesting after the first packet, we're not gonna talk about anything else,
Well,
because that would allow you to be prepared.
I want to have sufficient time to be prepared, Mr. Mayor.
I understand. So I guess we need to decide on the paperwork and things like that. Because it was information. I get your concern, Mr. Regal. But I know, Karen, you had a comment.
Well, I think tonight, what you received today was the police report, the financial report, the public works report, all the reports that are just common. And here, I think the other rebuttal I would have about this is we didn't used to send you this. And I have encouraged the department heads to add that. I think that if it gets to be such an issue that we have to be cut our date off in the 20th of the month, say, your information will be a month late. I mean, that's just going to be the bottom line. Now, I think the other side of what he has proposed before was that we move the council date. So that all, like the financial report that's due, we can't, today is what, the 4th? Is today the 4th of May?
Yes.
Okay, so Marta's in there balancing that bank account and stuff, trying to get this financial report done so that it can be in the packet tonight. So you can decide if that's not important to you and your information comes at a month late. And there's a lot of agencies that do that.
However, if we move the meeting back a month, she would have a week to prepare it for us, would she not?
Yes.
But the alternative of moving the meeting back is it throws off Barry.
Well, Barry said that he was going to put out a feeler to his people, and we have not heard from that yet.
I understand back a month, I don't know.
I'm sorry, back at a
A
week.
week, I think you got a week.
I'm sorry, yes, I
So
see.
you want to go to the second week?
I do.
I just want to understand what you're asking for.
We, 2 months ago, I put forth it and it was tabled. We brought it up last week, it was tabled. It's been a couple months, we need to go on. Can't have open items.
Can I ask another question, if that's okay? No one was gonna say anything. I don't know where everyone else, stands on moving the date, but Paul, did you ask around and you got everyone's consensus on what they feel? And what
The
works
ones
for
that
them?
replied back, yes.
And other than Barry, question mark, not knowing where you stand on that, feel like you got direct answers from everyone on the topic?
I did, and I wouldn't be pressing it unless I got their answers. I suggested that.
Am I able to ask Barry if there's been any further?
It's up to them. I'm just putting it out, we've been waiting.
the planning commission, has, we just appointed two, okay, we had several that hadn't been. So I was only talking to four, and it's kind of a 2-2. But it does compress the time for me to get things done for the planning.
Kind of going off of some things that I was thinking about as far as the agendas. We haven't been asked to make a decision on something that we just all of a sudden get. I get that maybe we may not be as prepared or know everything. But the city hall is open for us to ask our questions. We ask our questions about that, and then it doesn't bother me as much as maybe it bothers you, Mr. Beagle, as far as things coming super late. Understanding that things are going to be late, and I don't have it, that's out of my control.
Understand it.
And if the department heads are doing their best to make us happy, I think we need to support them as best as we can with that. And if we feel like we are behind in understanding, all we do is just let them know that we're behind in understanding, and we talk about the next meeting. And I think it would be a bad thing for us to be able to say, I don't want to hear it after the first of the month.
No, I've been asking.
No, I mean, I don't want to have to say,
How about in the agenda?
yeah, I don't want to have to say, you're not, if it's, yeah, I'm not taking any more additions to the agenda. I think that's a wrong avenue to go down, I think.
Well, it doesn't matter
when we
what
have-
day you move it to, things are gonna happen up
Right,
to that
and-
day, is what
and
he's saying, so.
What I'm saying is when stuff comes up and I don't understand, I ask questions.
And there's nothing wrong with that, and I think that is perfectly acceptable. And it might irritate or bother you a little more than it does me, because of different personalities, you know what I mean? And, but with the city, I think it's a moving entity, and there's like what, Junior was saying, I think there's just gonna be stuff that's added. And if we have questions, we ask questions, and we, just like we have before, we don't make a decision until we get all the information. And I think that's a good avenue to go. You know, I just don't want to feel like we are belittling our staff that work really hard for us. And I'm not saying that you do.
No.
I just don't want them to feel that way, because I think they do a really good job trying to meet all of our things that we ask them to do.
Well, I think in tonight's packet, the only thing would be the financial report that you would have any questions about. The rest of them are strictly reports saying, I did this and that, and that's their job. And they're just keeping you up to date on, like that we did sweep the streets and things like that. That's strictly just letting you know what they're doing with their time.
The bond report, okay, that's gonna come in a memo maybe, or some information. As we take a look at it, we may or may not have questions for that we could ask at another time, or we come in and talk to Karen about it, or whatever that may be. I took the bond report as more of an informational piece.
It's already done, it's done.
Yes,
We couldn't say, I don't like that, let's not do it, it's too late for that,
Right.
it's done. It's gonna happen, so that one wasn't even an issue, that was just,
No.
it was.
no, I don't think so
informational.
either. I think that a lot of this stuff is for your information. And like you say, whether you study it today or next weekend when you have time, the financial report is the only thing that we have. And so I pulled up this year's calendar. And so in June, we will want to move to the 8th because of the budget. The next in July is the 6th, so, you know, we'll probably meet them. But we have, and every year is different, the way Tuesdays fall at the beginning of the month. So, and if you want to move the date to the second Tuesday, I think that's your decision. my decision is that, how quickly I cut off sending you information.
I don't want that to
I
happen.
do know that could happen.
And I have no problem if we want to vote on it tonight, because that's what we think we have to do.
Ever heard Leslie?
I agree. Yeah, that's fine, let's vote, let's vote.
Leslie, are you still there?
Yeah, sorry, my video is not working, so it takes me a minute to get things.
That's okay. Just didn't want to think that we were doing all this talking without you, so.
No, I appreciate you checking in, and I certainly understand the concerns because I had many of the same questions when I first started, and I understand that there's going to be some give and take on all sides, and I do appreciate how we are getting our packets a few days earlier, and I feel like that gives me personally more time to review everything. And at the same effect, that I understand that there's going to be some things that we're going to get last minute, and I'd rather discuss them when they're current and a hot topic rather than wait till our next meeting. That's my input on the topic.
And just so you know, Paul, I asked the same question when I first became.
Oh, I think
I
everybody does.
did, I says, why are we doing it here? Can't we take it out a week? Not knowing why we couldn't take it out a week, and then looking into it, and Leslie had the same question 4 months later when she came in. We all have that question. Here's the thing. City council has been here for 40+ years. There are a lot of people before us that knew as much or more than we may know. It's never been changed, and there's a reason for that. I'm not saying that it can't be changed or we couldn't vote on changing it. I'm just saying it has always been that way. As a citizen of Boardman, I always knew when city council was. If I had something I wanted to ask, I knew it was going to be the first Tuesday of the month. If I wanted to go and say something, I always knew that. Everybody knows that. To change it, everybody's going to say, what happened to city council? You know,
Well,
it would be a huge step to change this. It's more than just the inconvenience of getting paperwork. There's about 4,000 people affected by it. And you know, I asked the same question because it didn't make sense to me. Why are we doing it this way? Why can't we change it? Well, it just doesn't work because there's other entities who have, I mean, there's meetings all through the month. And if we move one, we're gonna be stepping on somebody else's toes.
Well, my concern is it's an open item. It's been open for 2 months.
Right, no,
We
I
need to
said,
close it.
let's vote on it. We have to do that. I'm okay. I move that we vote on the request to move city council meetings to the second Tuesday of the month.
We have a motion to move it. You wanted to move it. Okay,
Are you
Are you moving or are you running a motion?
Moving to vote on the motion.
moving
No,
to
he's just
vote on
asking
the
for us
motion.
to
Yeah,
vote.
I'm just asking to vote. I'm
So I
not-
guess somebody needs to make a motion to move it. And then whether it's.
Mr.
second
B
or
was
not.
saying that was done 2 months ago.
Yeah,
I don't
we
recall
already,
that, but
we already,
And we
I
take-
made the motion and it was seconded. We
Okay.
discussed it. It was tabled. It was brought up last month. It was tabled again. So the motion has been motioned and seconded and remained open for 2 months now.
Do we remember who motion who?
I
seconded
don't,
it?
but it's not on our agenda, so now I don't,
Yeah, we probably can't do
we
it.
probably can't do it. I don't know the rules.
You should have it on your agenda if you're gonna take formal action.
Yes.
Thank you. So that's what I was thinking, but I didn't remember.
So let's put it on,
Put
well,
it on the
put it on
agenda.
June 8th agenda.
Oh,
No?
June.
June,
Yes.
June.
Yeah.
Did I say
Regular
18?
June, you said-
just wondering if you want it. I know that's like a
Budget.
financial thing.
No,
No, let's
Yeah, you
just
can't do
do-
it. That's
Can't do it on that.
So let's, our next city council will put it on the,
the agenda to vote.
yes.
Okay. And I'm sorry, we didn't think to put that back on the agenda.
That would be under like old business, wouldn't it?
I think so,
Or other business.
but it's an open item.
So, you know, business.
We don't have old business. We don't have a new business.
So go under other business, probably. Any Any other counselors have anything that they would like to share? Do you have anything else you'd like to share?
No, sir, that's all I have.
Brenda?
I just love the splash pad. That's it.
You'll see her out there. when it's
You
80
absolutely
degrees.
will.
The water is just too cold. I am sorry. The
You know,
water is
you
too
would
cold.
think so, but those
I'll go
kids
to the
were,
river when it's warm.
those kids were running around in there. It just, it
It's-
warms your heart.
Leslie, did you have anything else you would like to share?
Not at this time, thank you.
Have anything I need to bring up or share? So at that time, we will close this meeting. And we're gonna go into executive session ORS 192.6602A for personnel and ORS 192.6602H for litigation. And I hereby close
Mr.
this.
Mayor, do you plan on making any decisions coming back?
I didn't think we would.
No, but you need to state that.
We will not be making any decisions.
Okay, so everybody else, I'm gonna end the meeting on Zoom. Leslie, I'll restart the meeting if you can reconnect. And give me just a few minutes.
Are you gonna use the same link?
We have to restart the meeting so that nobody else is in here.
Okay, and you'll just let me in versus anybody else? Okay.
I hereby close this meeting.
You have